Okay, good afternoon. Hope everyone is well. It is the 10th of June. It may be a slightly short session for me today. It's my wife's birthday, so I may just do 2 hours. We'll see. So I've been cake baking this morning, which is not something I do a lot of. But there you go. So let's see how we got on today. So my apologies yesterday. I was sat in the dentist chair from 2:30 till about 20 past 4. I had to have root canal treatment, so it just took forever. So I didn't even trade yesterday at all. I did have a look at the market and I had a little bit of a chat here or there with a few people, but I didn't actually trade. So market is about to open now. So far, I suppose it's kind of looking a bit rangy. I mean, the trouble is, the less volume you have, obviously, the less of a picture we've got. But I'm kind of looking at this 2 legs back, and this does look like we may get a move up. So I'm very tempted here. Trouble is, whenever I've traded at the open, sometimes it's got a tendency to go against you. I think it will work on that range bar. We're up about 8. Yeah, it's probably going to get to the top. There's going to be some stops there. So, I mean, it is 2 legs down, but generally I try and avoid the open. But I think that's worked, or it's going to work. So, Karina, good morning to you. Trump speak with China, but hey, Tony, how you doing? Yeah, so that did work. It was 2 legs down, but if it wasn't right at the open, I may have had a go at that, but we're clearly going a bit sideways. It's not as clear, and we haven't really got a signal bar, but this lately is just so much clearer. It just takes a little bit of time to trust it. But I suppose now we're above all this, I suppose test the highs. That kind of makes sense. But let's we kind of had a breakout pullback. Let's see if we trap some shorts there. There may be a higher low there, but it's a bit too straight up for me. I'd rather have 2 legs down and then continue on up. So have we got something like that? We certainly could do. That looks like a spike in channel. I suppose it makes sense. We kind of head up to the highs. So that did work. It went up about, I'd say, 6 points, maybe thereabouts. Let's have a look. He's speaking at 4 Eastern time, is he? Yeah, I'll be done and dusted by then. 5, 6, 7, 8. That's about 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock UK time. Okay. See if we can get a failure here. It may still be worth going long. I'd rather just get maybe a higher low, just to sort of give us that picture that we're going in that direction. I mean, we have come back and bounced off here, but you just never know. So it's still a little bit early. So I've just poured myself a whiskey there. Cheers, everyone. So I was just watching Nutty's video before we came in. He's lost a bunch of accounts. And I messaged him, actually. I was kind of where he was. A couple of weeks ago, I went through it as well. So it hurts when you do it. But what I will say is I actually recovered really quick. I didn't feel like it hurt nowhere near as much. I think because I've realised over time you do blow counts, you do make stupid, rash decisions, but they do get less and less. In the end, your brain just kind of gets wise to the fact that there's no point in trying to battle the markets or, you know, try and strong arm it. You're just never going to work. You just have to accept it. It does take time. Certainly as with me. Some people get it. Some people get it early. I think it depends on what type of person you are. Lost 18k on those lies count. Yeah, it is a stinger. Mind you, if you look at his overall picture for the year so far, he's made a good amount of money. I mean, we're not even quite halfway through the year, and he's probably made double the average wage in the UK. So he's done really well. So I think he'll have a day or two off, and then he'll bounce back fine. I got to say, if I'd have lost my accounts and I lost 5 accounts, I've been in tears twice, and I'm not a crier. You know what I mean? But I don't mind. I mean, it rocked me. And that's happened a couple of times. But this time I bounced back because I realised it's okay. As long as you're making money and you're not getting yourself in sort of financial trouble, it's not so bad. You know, it does take time. I know you've been trading a while, Tony. I'm pretty sure you had your fair share of rocky times. It does happen, but I think it's like anything. You bang your head against the wall enough times, sooner or later you realise it hurts and you just stop doing it. So let's have a look. So we've got 2 attempts to push up here, so it'll be interesting to see where this comes down now. Shiva, how you doing, bud? Is that Shiva or Sheva? Shiva the first one or Sheva the second one? But yeah, 18,000. It is a stinger, isn't it? It is a stinger. What I would say, though, I'd much prefer to lose Apex, the money I've made from Apex, than my own, what I consider personal money. Although you've earned that money, it doesn't quite feel the same. A football player comes from a football player. I'm not really a football person. I used to be. I'm more of a cricket man, I am myself. I used to follow football. I used to be a Leeds United fan a long time ago, but I just got sick of football. I just saw something once and it put me off. I was at my local club. I was driving out on my road and I went down to the main road and there was football fans walking up the road and they were shouting and screaming and fighting, and there was a young mother there with a young kid, young lad, must have been about 5 or 6, and he looked scared to death, and they saw him and they did nothing about it. You know, you like to think lads, when they get a bit, you know, boisterous, they calm down, but they didn't. And just seeing that fear on the kid's face and the mother, it just put me off it. Strange. And I went over to cricket, that probably early 2000s, I think 20 years ago. So 1, 2, 3 triple tests. Very tempting to go along there, but the fact that we've pushed up out and come right back in makes me a bit nervous about going along here. Exponential, how you doing, bud? So I'm not sure about this. It is going sideways, but would you say that's a triple test? After we made 2 pushes up and broke out of this, we came back in it, and not just for a quick visit before we pushed up again. So I think, I mean, it's tempting, but there's just something I don't like about this. You know, whenever we have a breakout, sometimes it will pull back a bit before it carries on, but that broke above here and came right back in. So there's just something about this I'm not a fan of. I'm not convinced that that is a channel. So it's a bit sideways. We've had a break out the bottom and a small break out the top, so I'm not convinced. I'd rather this drop down and pick off. There's going to be quite a bit of liquidity there. I just don't like this. It's not strong enough at the bottom. That's not strong enough. Another tick and that would have cleared out some of this liquidity. So my gut feeling is we're going to have 2 legs, maybe a little drop out here, clear this liquidity, then I'll have a go. But it just doesn't look a great place to buy for me. Yeah, it's struggling. It to get some buyers in here, I think it's got to clear out some of this, drop down with a wick, and then give us a nice strong bullish bar, and then maybe a second entry long then. I mean, it may work. Sometimes it just grinds up. It just depends how strong it is, I suppose. Not only that, we got 1, 2, 3 triple test. It could be a few attempts to go high, and this may drop down a bit low. There's no real setup there. We got a recount there, so it's only really a first entry. I can't see there's going to be many shorts getting in here. Okay, I've pretty much got the same as down there. Well, exactly the same, actually. He took that one. Fair dues to him. For me, it's just not quite low enough. If it had taken out that liquidity, I'd have had a go at that. I'm surprised he took that. That's not typically his one type of trade. But he did take it nonetheless. Well, he's marked it anyway, so whether he took it or not, I'm assuming if he's marked it, he probably did. I certainly considered it. Well, I considered it here, but it's a little bit higher off the bottom here. I try and do my trades on here because I feel I can control the risk a bit better. And the trouble is with that, we've got two strong bars down. You never know where we're going to... See, there's a small breakout there. We could get one here, but as we've already had one there, I don't think we will. But it looks a little bit weak to me. It may trigger, come down and clear this out. There's going to be liquidity along there, you like to think. So you never know whether we're going to have a quick push down, a trigger, a drop out the bottom, and then a push up to clear that out. But it did work. It's just I mean, you could argue it's a triple test 1, 2, 3. But if it had been a triple test taking out that liquidity, I would have had a go then. It wasn't a huge bar, I don't think. So 3.25 tick above, that's not too bad. It's in the ATRs, half a point bigger than that. I mean, we often do this, anyway, don't we? Up, across, and up. You'd like to think that this is likely going to be the next target. But it's getting out, this coming back, getting out again and coming back. So I wouldn't be surprised if this thing has a quick flush down. I was hoping it would clear that then. We may get a quick push down. It's just not quite strong enough. I think if it gets below there, that might encourage a few more buyers, which is why I didn't get in there. It just seemed like it needed to clear some of this out first. So maybe it's... Not only that, we've had 3 attempts to push up and couldn't get up, so it may come down a little bit more. But my initial thought is to just clear this area out here, basically at that midline, and then maybe if we can get something. Yeah, that's why I didn't get in there. I was expecting it to do that a bit earlier. So it's cleared out this area there. I don't think it needs to go that far down. If there's buyers in here, I'm guessing they're probably going to come in soon. But the trouble is we have made multiple attempts to push higher, especially it's a bit clear on this chart. So Ben, how you doing, buddy? Just clear that colour out there. So that's a possibility. If it continues down, then I don't think it's going to go up. It needs to come down a bit more, I think. But I think that's cleared out the important stuff. See if we can get a higher low. Tempting that. It is 2 legs back. But there's just something at the moment that's just making me a little bit uneasy. So channel with a break, see what happens. It may not be this. It may just be continuing sideways. Let's see if that fits a bit better up there. So straight away, that's looking dicey, isn't it? If that was strong enough, I don't think it would have triggered it and started to come back. We'll see. So in case you didn't know, the 71% ended and moved on to 80% again. So we tend to flick between 80 and 71, don't we, with the occasional 90. So that is on if you are in the market for a... I'm tempted to, in fact, I did say I didn't want to spend anything. So far, I've had a good month this month. I've only spent $280. So I wanted to try and keep it a bit lower up until another payment. I think I did $2,000 last month, but I bought five Traderfy accounts. That was about $1,200 and probably $800 on, or $1,250, $1,300 and probably $700 or $800. So I had quite an expensive month last month. Although I did, I was profitable. I did certainly make more than I spent. Daryl, how you doing, pal? Yeah, it's getting a bit choppy now. I don't really want to get in here. Looking on this range chart, there is a bullish bar and a possible higher low, but I don't like this push down with a pullback. We could drop below here. So I'm going to get rid of that. It just doesn't quite look right at the moment. We've got a smaller range and then it kind of goes into a bigger range. So at the moment, it's just not super clear what it's doing. Yeah, there is a higher low there. Trouble is it could trigger it and come back down. Generally, if I was going to take a bar, I wouldn't want to do it 2/3 of the way. Well, certainly in the top half. Because we could have 2 legs down. I thought if we got out the top, we may continue on, but wasn't having none of it. So it's just, I'm just sitting tight here. It's so easy to get caught out in this stuff. Sometimes the thing is, you do nothing, it goes up. As soon as you get in, it'll trigger you, come down. So the best thing to do, it's just unpredictable, this exactly where it's going to go. I mean, if it does come off the bottom, chances are it's going to go at the top, but it is getting very sideways and choppy, which means it could be awkward. It could come down and take that out there and bounce off this again. Yeah, poor old Nutty's having a tough day. He's done the right thing, though, taking a day or two off. Good game of golf, couple of beers, that'll sort it out. Doesn't take much. He's been trading a while now. He's been trading a few years, I think, Nutty. Doesn't hurt. I got to say, the last time I blew those accounts, I was surprisingly okay. I was really okay, more than okay. I think you just realise after a while that you do bounce back, and as long as you're making money. Sam, how you doing? On your evals to get payout, do you trade larger? Sometimes. What I have been doing, I've just got I've got one Apex PA account and 5. Trouble is, I've got into this habit of when I get a new PA account, going for 3 or 4 contracts and taking a risky trade, trying to get a big boost. I'm really trying to stop it. But you know what you can do is it really depends, mate. If you've got, let's say, for instance, you've got 10 accounts. What you could do is trade half of them on 1 contract and half of them on 2. The trouble is, the main issue is, obviously, the bigger the contract size, if you do take a loss, the more damage it does on an account. So it depends what your psychology is like. If you can play the numbers game and you've got good psychology, then you can probably go for a little bit more. But sometimes... And I've been had my ups and downs. I've been a bit greedy and tried to rush the process. And, sometimes it just doesn't work. So it's a tough one, mate, really. I certainly wouldn't do anything more than 2 contracts. At the moment, I'm trading my 1 PA account, 3 contracts, and my 5 Trader 5 accounts, just 1 contract. If I can get 1 trade a day, that's $750 a week. Say I lose 1... I win 4, lose 1. I've made $500 profit. Over a month, that's $2,000. So 6 weeks, you can certainly, 5 or 6 weeks, you can certainly get up. It's a tough one, mate, really. It depends. It's not good for me. I'm not particularly good with my psychology at the moment. It's better than it was. But when my accounts get to that 2,500 level, I tend to get into protective mode then. Sometimes I can be a bit blasé about it when I'm on the way up there, and it's not a good habit. So, we've all heard the saying, slow and steady wins the race. So I think maybe a good compromise is to trade some of them 1 contract and some of them 2 contract. That way, maybe a couple, or even just if you've got 5, just trade 1 or 2 slightly larger. That way it doesn't do you that psychological damage if you lose a lot on all of your accounts. 1 or 2 of your accounts, you could probably deal all right with. Say the truth, sometimes it doesn't work. Yeah, it's not an easy decision, isn't it? I mean, how many times have we read slow and steady wins a race? It's not a get rich quick. Can you get rich? Absolutely. If you're good enough and you've got good self-control and you can, sort of build slowly. Obviously, you've got to build your account. The more money in your account, the more profit you can go for. It's a tough decision. I think I've come to the conclusion that it doesn't really work for me. But I have 6 accounts at the moment, and as you can see, I'm trading the 1 PA with 3 contracts and the rest just with 1. Psychology damage, losing 3 contract on that 1 is not going to do me any harm. So I'd say that might be a good compromise. That way you may get 1 up to payment or even 2 up to payment a little bit quicker. And then just, the bulk of them, take your time. You don't want to damage the bulk of them, really, but it's forever evolving. Your trading, you make mistakes, and every time you tell yourself, I'm not going to do it again, and you do the same mistakes, but you do them less. Something, if you watch Nutty's video, something he said, and I've mentioned it as well, you blow up less. I haven't blown up a bunch of accounts this year. I used to do it regularly, at least every month. So I have, I have come to the conclusion that I have got enough self-control to make money. Could it be better? Absolutely. You just have to keep trying, but you do learn eventually. Sometimes, I'm a little bit pig-headed. I am. Sometimes it takes me a little bit longer to learn. I'm a bit stubborn. And I think that's a good thing as well. Be honest with yourself. If you think you're struggling, maybe choose the better option, And of course, you've got Guardian Angel Trader just to watch your back, just in case the worst happens. This is really struggling to go anywhere, this. 1 minute we get out the top, then we come back. I wouldn't even say this is a channel, really. It's a bit too sideways. Yeah, sometimes the less steep these are, the less reliable they are. So at the moment, I think we're just chopping around with no sort of real direction. I think it's more likely we work up to the tops, but you never know. Do you know what? I think we've had more volume, nearly as much volume today as we had all day. I mean, look at that. That's what I mean, bearing in mind, we've had about as much volume as we had at 7 o'clock last night, and it's what, 3 o'clock. So I mean, yesterday was just. I'm glad I got to the charts about 4:30, 4:45, and I didn't really do anything. I just watched it a bit and had a little bit of chat with a few other streamers. But I mean, and it's kind of going sideways and it's choppy. So there's just not. I think even Mac marked 2 or 3 trades, maybe 4. And obviously, the more sideways and the less volume, the less of a kind of overall picture you get. I got to say, when I have just taken my time and done it slowly, you do get there. It takes a bit longer. Trouble is, the more you risk, the more chance you've got of getting yourself into trouble. If I lose $150, it doesn't do much to my psychology. If I lose $300, that's a little bit more of a stinger. And if you lose 2 trades, $600, that does affect you. So it makes sense. You're less risk, take a little bit more time to get there. But when you get up there, you can relax a bit more because you've got a little bit of a cushion then. And at least then if, for instance, with Apex, you get to $2,600, you take $500, 8 more days, all you got to do is get another, $500. All you got to do is trade another 8 days. It's another $500 minimum. So once you're at that level, you get regular payouts. And I did for quite a while until I decided just to push my luck a bit too much. So it's taking me a little bit of time just to get mine out. My accounts at the moment, let's have a look. My accounts at the moment are between 600 and just over 1,000 on my TraderFi accounts. So they're taking a bit, but I don't mind if they take 6 weeks. Once I'm up there, then you can take regular little bits off the top. Oversize. I've come to the conclusion that if you oversize, it does more psychological damage. Now, I had the attitude that I'm taking 2 contracts because I want to get there quicker. But if all that leads to is 6-12 months of blowing accounts after accounts, you might as well have gone for 3 micros. You'd have been there quicker. So I think 1 contract for me is okay. Going for a bit more, I think, is too much. I don't want to go for micros. Realistically, risking about 150 on here. I've got to lose about 15 trades in a row. If you're losing 15 trades in a row, you're blind. Psychology isn't your problem. You can close your eyes and buy and sell the market and get a better win rate than that. So, I understand that there is, a lot of traders say 2%, but that's when you're risking your own money. To have a $2,500 drawdown here is costing me 1/10 of that. So, it's about percentage risk. So if I'm investing 1/10 of that, I can risk a little bit more, to be honest. I don't want to take forever to get there, but I think 1 contract's okay. I'll tell you something. I felt like I was a casino for so long. I think what it is now, I've never been a gambler. I've never paid any attention to gambling in my life. If you work out the times I've had a bet on something, it'll work out less than once a year. It just doesn't interest me. Fruit machines and stuff like that, never been interested in them. But there's been many times that you take an evaluation which costs you 90% off, say with $16, $17. If something goes against you, you move your stop and try and get lucky. If you get lucky, you win, you pass your what's it. If you don't get lucky, you've lost $16. You know, the less you risk, it doesn't necessarily mean you're gambling. If you're driving and you park in a supermarket in a £150,000 car, you're not going to park right next to another one. If you park in a $1,000 car, you don't pay attention. It's like anything, that the more expensive something is, the more care you take over it. It's common sense. It's just our human beings. So I wouldn't call it gambling. It's just you're taking a risk on something that's not worth a lot. That's why, you know, sometimes these prop firms, they can get you into bad habits, really, of just thinking it's okay if something goes right to move your stop, when really it isn't a great habit to get into. You know, I did it for a long time. I generally don't do it now. I was constantly moving my stop, and then I got a message from an experienced trader, and I stopped doing it. And I didn't do it for about 3 months until I ended up doing it on that one fateful day 2 weeks ago. But I felt like I was building up to that. Trading was hard. I was frustrated. You know, it felt like it was a matter of time before something went wrong. And I'm kind of glad it did, because, you know, you do get good lessons. Whenever you fall on your face, you do learn a lot. And you do gain from it. So, you know, that's why I don't beat myself up, because I know it's, you know, it's part of learning to make mistakes. You know, some people make the mistakes a little bit more than others. Some people learn quick. But it is part of learning. You know, you learn way more from your mistakes than you ever do from your successes, really. It does cost money, yeah. Absolutely. It does cost money, yeah. Which doesn't surprise me. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if quite a lot of people have gotten to some serious. In fact, I know I was chatting with Cami Capital once, maybe about 3 or 4 months ago. And at one point, he was in debt up to his eyeballs and completely broke. And that must feel suffocating. In fact, he's stopping streaming, isn't he? He's stopping his live streams. I think Top Step have done the dirty on him or something. He was one of their main affiliates, and they've stopped their affiliates. I wonder how long it'll be before a lot of other companies stop affiliates. I know, you know, some people, they're paying millions. And I suppose enough people now know, you know, these prop firms, and they kind of know that it's not difficult to get. Cami Capital said his wife gave him permission to use her last fight. Yeah, I remember reading that, but it must be horrible to be really in debt. You know, the pressure. You know, I was chatting to the scruffy trader, a British currency trader. He's been trading for over 20 years, and he said you start making money when you stop thinking about making it. But the trouble is, it's certainly from my point of view, when I started trading, I realised what I wanted to do, and I changed my job around. Instead of working a normal 9 to 5 and then jumping on the charts from sort of 6 to 8 in the afternoon, I decided I wanted to trade more in a day, so I changed my job. So I started working Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So I earned more money working weekends, and it gave me more time too. And I had my affiliates as well, so that made that was a big help in the costs. But, you know, not everybody, you know, has that luxury of having that little bit extra cash. So it can be, you know, it can be really detrimental to your finances. It must be horrible to be really in debt. We've got some savings, so, you know, we're okay, but it must be flipping scary. Greed. It's part of being human beings. Human beings are greedy, aren't they? You know, we want things. And when we have something, we don't want to give it away. It's kind of how we work, isn't it, really? And usually you find out the richer people are usually the tightest. Yeah, I mean, I watched a documentary once about this guy that won, I think he won something like 15 million on the lottery. And over the period of the next 6 months, he lost all his friends, most of his friends, and fell out with a lot of his family. they thought they should have had more of the chunk, and they started falling out, and it completely wrecked him. So money does funny things to you. I think it's much better to earn your money and to grow it rather than, I think if we're given a huge amount of money, it's very hard to deal with it, I think. Yeah, there was a comedy in the UK in the sort of 80s and 90s, Only Fools and Horses. Any UK people will know what it is. It was a comedy about two brothers and their uncle. And they were kind of wheelers and dealers in London, and they were always trying to make money, always trying to make, to be millionaires. And they actually, I mean, it's obviously, it's all fiction. It's non-fiction. They found this old watch, this old pocket watch. This was one of the later episodes. They found this old pocket watch. In the end, it was worth $6 million. They made $6 million. And they kind of, the one main character kind of lost his zest for life because, the bit he actually liked was the getting up and the going out to work and the trying. Now you've got it, what do you kind of do? So, I think it's great. It's better to earn it, isn't it, than be kind of, don't get me wrong, if someone left me some money. But I think you get a much better understanding of money and more value when you've got to earn it and you know what it's like to come from, having not a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's a classic British comedy. I was a big fan of it for years. I think most people, but I remember him talking once. He said, I don't know what to do now. It was the trying and the wheeling and the dealing and the scheming and all the, the new ideas, and we'll try this and we'll try that kind of gave you that kind of spirit in life to get out and try and make it happen. And then all of a sudden, when it falls in your lap, you kind of, what do I do now? Yeah, people are mad when it comes to money. Does break a lot of families up. I've read that story quite a few times. You don't know who your friends are. They being your friends because of the money. Sometimes friends and family are more interested in what they can get out of you, and that can change people. So yeah, money can be kind of an evil thing sometimes. Not much you can do here, really. Twice it's broken above this, and twice it's fell back in. So if this continues to struggle anymore, my feeling is we may start to drop. It's not super clear, is it? Okay. Excuse me. While it's chopping around, I'm going to go and make myself a quick cup of tea. So I'm just going to pop that on the chart. There's nothing you can do at the moment. It maybe do this for the next 10 or 15 minutes. So I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break, make a cup of tea, and I'll be back with you. Okay, so I don't think I missed anything really, did I? So 2 legs up. Trouble is we've been up here twice and straight away it pulled back. So I'm going to move that up a bit to about there. Anybody know what caused that big drop like that, or that big move up? We obviously had some kind of news, didn't we? I mean, overnight, where do we open? We opened here, and all of a sudden, up to the top there, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars which shot up 30 points, and then more or less the complete opposite. I'm guessing something caused that. Mind you, I will say there's probably going to be a fair bit of liquidity there, but even so, it's a bit stronger than I would expect. Usually, if it does clear out liquidity, it'll slow down, and that had another couple of big bars. We're not a million miles away from all-time highs. All-time highs are up here, so we're not far away. 1 or 2 large days, and then we're up there. Yeah, we're not far away. I think that is about all-time highs. So where we are now, we're just over from there, from the highs of the day. So yeah, about 200 points, somewhere around about there. We have that pull back to the MA. A couple of attempts to go lower. There is a higher low there, so I'm assuming I think it'd be long before we're up there. Definitely got it's got a slight bullish feel to it. Trouble is, it's very slow. It's very easy to get caught going long up here, and for this thing to just drop. Just logged in, and the second entry long seemed perfect. 9:48, 9:48 this morning. 14:48. Not about there. The trouble is, yeah, actually, it's funny enough. There's your signal bar for the second entry there, because it broke below there. That actually isn't the second entry. There's your signal bar there for the second entry. Push down, we break above that once. There's your second entry long there. Trouble is, at the time I'm looking at this, if for me to get interest off that, really, I like the fact that it's cleared some of that, but it would have to be a higher low, really. You just don't know there. And because we've, you know, kind of broke above this where I had this, we had that strong move down. You don't know whether we're going to make 2 attempts to push up and have another leg down and clear some of this. Initially, see, at the time, I had that. In fact, I'll tell you what I had that, I think. So we got a breakout there, and often we get one at this side, and then we come down, and then we push up again, and we still can't get out, and then we get a strong move down. So you don't know whether we're going to get 2 attempts to push up and then drop down. So it's just a bit odd, this is. Above the green bar, bounce trend. Yeah, see, I'm talking from a Pat's price action point of view. You've been trading before, so you may look at this slightly different from me. So it's hard to know. See, when it starts to go like this, I just generally stay out of it unless we get 3 bounces, we clear out liquidity and get a really big wick with a strong bull bar, and it's either a second entry long, you know, or a nice triple test. But at the moment, we broke out and then we pull back, or we broke out again and pull back again. So at the moment, it's just getting a bit unpredictable. Once we got above it, I'd have expected it to pull up, especially a second time, and it didn't. It still came down. So what's happening now? We're above it again. So we're going to continue up, or we, you know, is there a channel? It's hard to say. I'm looking at, there's one guy who's got a channel like that. So it may be, it's just not super clear for me. So, because, yeah, it does seem to be going up a bit, but it is still sideways, certainly up until about here. Anyway, we came down, touched that line. So I'm just not sure. I mean, if this thing struggles anymore, it could decide to take a dump. I look at the 10,000 tick chart. It doesn't look any better. It's completely sideways. Yeah, there is a slight up feel to it, but it's not strong for me. So you never quite know if this thing is going to just go leg down, a bunch of attempts, and then just having none of it and then down again. But my experiences in trades here, it just doesn't do you any favors. So that may be a channel, but for the minute, I'm just going to kill the color. Excuse me. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. See, half of them have got that and the other half have got sideways. Thomas Wade has got that with a break and a new high. So I'm just a bit unsure about this at the moment. So just for now, I'm just going to bin it. So yeah, if I just look at this, so Thomas Wade's already got a break with a new high. He's got a channel like that. That's Thomas Wade. Someone else down here, he's got it more just chop, and rightly so, really. It's more of a range. He's got it as a complete channel. So it's just a bit unclear at the moment. So I'm just treating it as choppy. Beware. If plane is down, do Apex need to wait? I'm using plane and sometimes it's not right. They seem to be down and I'm waiting for a pair, which is approved, but nothing yet. How long's it taken you, Speedy? Good on you on the payment though, mate. I usually get a payment. Do you know what? Even one of my accounts took a week. Mind you, it was over a bank holiday, but took a week. And usually after it's been approved, it takes anywhere from a day to 3 days to say the money's been sent to plane, and usually 3 days from when it hits plane to goes in my account. You was approved on Friday. I wouldn't too worry about it then, mate. That's fine. We're only Tuesday, aren't we? So not much happens over the weekend, as you know. So I wouldn't worry about it, mate. I dare say the next day or so you'll hear something from plane, and I'm guessing by the end of the week it'll be in your bank. So if it was approved on Friday, mate, I wouldn't be worried about it now. So I wouldn't worry, mate. But the important bit is you're going to get it anyway. So good on you, mate. It is nice getting that email. I still like getting the email. Yeah, I won't worry about it, mate. Friday, so Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's only been 4 days, and 2 of those have been over the weekend. So I won't worry about it. You'll be right. Okay. Excuse me, just 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Still a parcel outside for. Okay, so. I just don't like the way it seems to be struggling to get up. Yeah, it seems to be getting up and then dropping back down. Trouble is, it's not going up very steep, and that concerns me. Weekly highs on ES. Yeah. Yeah, 4 days is nothing, mate. Because of the weekend, you'll get something this week. You'll get an email. What do I usually do? I think I usually get an email from Plain. Good news, something's coming your way. But with it being the weekend, I won't worry about it. In fact, Daryl Martin, in fact, I got an email. I watched a bit of it. Daryl Martin, in an email, made a video. He made things a little bit clearer. I actually prefer him to John Skelton. He's a little bit calmer, makes a little bit more sense. So it was just on an email I had. Let me have a look, see if I can find it. Blair's getting that many flipping emails. So I like Apex. It was the 80% off and a message from Daryl Martin. Yeah. He made a video interview with Daryl Martin. Yeah. He's been a bit quiet lately, Daryl, but I actually kind of like Daryl. He's okay. But he just clears things up that if you've because there was a bit going around about people banned from taking extra. All it is, if they're going to put you onto a live account, if you're a good enough trader, they want you on a live account because they're paying you otherwise, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Ultimately, we're all kind of working towards that space anyway. Yeah, I won't worry about it, mate. You'll get it sorted. So far, touch wood, they've never done me dirty yet. There was one time where I was waiting about 10 days, but that was before they did this quicker payment. I think they'd had issues with something that was maybe 10, 12 months ago. But now this quicker payment. When I had my last payment, I think I got approved. It took a week to approve me for some reason. But then literally a day and a half later, I got a message from me, plane saying good things coming your way. And I think that was on the Wednesday and I got the money on the Friday. So because I blow. I do, Karina, more or less what everybody else does. We all kind of go through it. This people didn't blow accounts. What people? I'm not sure what you mean. There's something to call marketing CEO. What you think he going to say? Just pay attention to what they do. It's hard to trade this stuff. It's just doing nothing really, is it? Chop, 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 chop. We're on 5-minute major resistance. Yeah, we're definitely struggling, aren't we? If it continues to do it much, much more, it may just decide to take a drop. This just happened 2 weeks is a new thing. Hey Jay, how you doing, bud? What are you guys talking about? Speedy. Just wondering when he gets his payment, Jay. That's blows apparently. Oh, these conversations get entertaining from time to time, don't they? Rumours, I assure you. Nothing factual and based as of yet. Speedy's just got a payment. He's just been approved. He's just wondering when he gets his payment. I blow baseless money. You're giving away your secrets now, Karina. Yeah, when you said you blow, we had a different idea. We had a different image in our head. That's our British mentality. That's what it is. What am I drinking? This is a Laphroaig Select, bud. Peated whiskey from Laphroaig. The conversation doesn't translate. No, it doesn't. We read that as something completely different. The 18-year-old. I've not had the 18. I've had the two I tend to drink are the Select and the 10-year-old. You must have a bit of money if you're drinking the 18-year-old stuff. Once it gets to 18, price starts to jump up dramatically, doesn't it? Mind you, what is it? Yeah, you're talking 60, 18 kind of above, really, aren't you? The 18. I've not drunk too much in the way of 18. But I do like my peated one. If you're a peated whiskey fan, my absolute favourite is the 10-year-old Laphroaig. Yeah, I am a peated. I've tried to see. My wife enjoys whiskey now. Actually, she has done for a while, and I've tried multiple times to get her to try to get her onto the peated stuff. She just can't touch it. Cheap trades selling 26s. Trouble is, I'm really hate markets when they have a really slow grind. Have you got any take profit? I don't at the moment, bud. But they are on my radar. I've had a couple of them. But they've got quite a good deal. And I got to say, I like the CEO. I saw him being interviewed a while back. I mean, you US guys know, apparently he's an ex-professional hockey player. But I liked him. He came over really nice. So they're on my radar. My plan is, at the moment, over the next, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, money go bye AD, mate. I like that. Over the next 3 to 6 months, something like that, is to have 5 Trader 5 Apex, 5 Take Profit, and maybe 5, something about my funded futures. I've gone off a little bit. But kind of 5, diversify a bit. I know you can have 20 with Apex, but I think it's good to spread it about a bit, so to speak. It's another joke for us male British guys here. Get a few 25s. I'm not trying. Well, I say I've not tried 25. I bought a couple by accident. But yeah, everyone has their kind of place where it suits you. But my favourite at the moment, I say favourite. It's just the straight to funded is the Traderfy. Now, initially they look a little bit more expensive, but they're not as expensive as you think, and I'll tell you why. Let me just give you a quick example. At the moment, a 50k Traderfy account is $509, and it's got 33% off, which equals $340. Now, Apex at the moment is, let's say it's $35. So I probably take 5 and pass 1. So, will that let me open another calculator? Yeah, it will. So that's Traderfy, this one. So if I do 5 evaluations and pass 1, because I trade them ridiculously. So let's say 5 times 35 equals, and at the moment it's 140 for the PA fees. So add 140 equals. It's costing me very, very similar. It's $25 different, and that's blowing 4 and passing 1. But the beauty about Traderfy is no messing around. I hate evaluations, to be honest with you, because I trade them aggressively. So there's no real difference. Now, there's slight benefits with this. Is that there's a 20% consistency rule. So it's about $600 a day is a kind of a max if you want to get paid out. But the difference with Apex and the difference with this, if I get a count to $3,000 with Apex, I can withdraw $900. If I get a count to $3,000 with Tradeify, I can withdraw $2,000. So it's quite a big difference. Now, there is a 90-10 split, which takes off $100, but $1,900 or $1,800 or $900 with Apex. So you can withdraw quite a bit more. Plus, you've got an end of day drawdown as well. So if you go for a little bit more profit and you get out maybe for break even, it doesn't affect your drawdown. So I like Tradeify at the moment. Let me have a look. Why don't you stop blowing for then? Oh, tell me about it, mates. I think what I'm trying to do, my next bunch of evaluations, I'm going to trade them over a month and just slow things down. But yeah, I trade them aggressively. I tend to go for 5 to 10 contracts. I try to speed things up and get in quick. But yeah, it's not a good habit, and I am slow. Well, I'm doing less, and I think I'm just going to maybe just go for 3 contracts, speed it up a little bit, but not stupid. Let's have a look. Down 1 point, I can deal with that. Absolutely. Bye. Yeah, I trade them stupidly. I do. I try and it's just a bad habit I got into. A lot of times I'll go for 10 contracts. But when I get money in my accounts, I tend to then get protective over it. God, it's nothing worse than a slow market. It just doesn't fill you full of confidence. Trouble is, sometimes my experience is a very slow moving markets like this, they often just drop. Straight funded is good if you have the money. Yeah, I mean, I've you know, I tend to, if I make money, I'll use some of it to, which is what I did. What did I have? I think I had about, did I have about $7,700 with May, I think so. And then I think I had about $2,000 in fees because I spent $1,200 on, or $1,300 on the 5 what's it account. So I still made $5,000 clear profit, fraction over. And that was with buying these accounts. So yeah, I think when you get paid, use a little bit of it, maybe 10% or 20% of it, and add to it. Bad habit of going 5 lots and blowing a passing for, yeah. It does, yeah. My funded futures and take profit trader, because you're paying about $90 or $100, it's the eval and the PA fee all in one. So I think that promotes better habits, absolutely. If you're new to trading though, and you want experience of what it feels like, buy the cheapest possible, whether that's Apex or Bullanox or whatever. I don't particularly like Bullanox. Not necessarily to trade the odd evaluation, but they don't let you trade with other accounts. Whereas at the moment, I'm trading with Apex and Tradeify. They won't let you do that with Bullanox. But for a little bit of experience, you know, you'll go from sim, really. Best way to move up from sim, I wouldn't touch your own money at all, period. I'd move up to one cheaper valuation and then just practice with that. Don't even try and get your evaluation up to PA fee, because you're going to do it, you're going to get lucky, you're going to pay your PA fee and you're going to lose the account. So it's a way of getting a little bit of experience, what it feels like having a bit of skin in the game. So the cheapest possible evaluation and never more than one. The time to move up is when you can start to make bits of money. When you start to get some payments, that's the time to start to grow. So obviously you can capitalize with having multiple accounts. Yeah, funnily enough, you mentioned that. Penguin trades now trades on a 500 tick chart. Yeah, it does show you a little bit more, which is why I tend to use this as well. If you look at the amount of volume, it's not much difference, to be fair, because that ATR is so low, and I've got my ATR set to 3 here, or 12 points, 3 points, sorry, 12 ticks, 3 points on the range, which is actually slightly more, which is why there's probably a few more bars on this. But this, I find, is a bit clearer. So I find I like to look what's happening on here and confirm with what I'm looking here, and that helps me make decisions. And I try, if I can, to trade this. The beauty about the range bars is I've got it set to the 12 range bar, so every single bar will be 3 points exactly. If a bar gets bigger, it moves on to the next one. So I like the fact that if I take that bar there, as long as I go a tick above and a tick below, I'm risking 3.5 points on every trade. The trouble is, even though that ATR is low, you can get a big bar. And all of a sudden, if you're waiting for a big bar, yeah, you've got the option to not take it. But if it's a great setup, you've got to make a real fast decision. But look at that bar there. So if we go a tick above and a tick below, we're risking, it's double that. I don't want to risk $420, you know. So I like the fact that this is a little bit more stable when it comes to managing risk, and a lot of the time it's cleaner as well. I pay 6 months Apex cheap eval for practice. Yeah, I mean, the beauty about Apex, and probably a lot of others as well, if you, at the moment, it's 80% off. So you could buy one evaluation for $35, and if you still got it in a month, they'd just charge another $35. So effectively, you're paying $35 a month just to experience trading with an evaluation, which is an important step on your journey. I would absolutely categorically say now, when you're new, never use your own money. Even if you're trading micros, to trade micros, for every one micro, most of the time, now if the volatility is high, it goes up. You want about $50, or that's what you need, minimum amount of margin, $50. So I would probably put $200 or $300 or maybe $500 in to trade 1 or 2 contracts. But the trouble is, if you go on tilt, you'll lose it. Whereas if you pick up one evaluation, you've got $2,500 of drawdown to play with, and it's only cost you $35. Can you add take profit trader accounts to Apex Copier? I'm not sure there, Dave, but I use, this is mine here, I use Replicanto, and I'm trading, there's my Apex account, and I'm also trading my Traderify account. So I'm trading both Rhythmic and, as you can see up there, there's just my thing opening positions, my Tradervate. So I can trade multiple accounts. Now, I used to have the Apex trade copier, and I didn't like it. Now, they did update it, so I don't want to pick on it or run it down. But what I will say is Replicanto for me has been flawless. It's the one bit of software I get no issues with. And you can trade accounts if they're Rhythmic and Tradervate. But as for the Apex one, having said that, if you've used it and you've been okay with it, then, my idea is if it's not broken, don't try and fix it. But as for trading multiple, I'm not sure, bud. I have had a chat with Affordable Indicators over the weekend. They've given me a bit of software to try if I put their advert on there. So I'm having to play around with it, and you can link them all together, multiple accounts. But to be honest with you, I haven't really had much time to play around with it, but I'm going to have a little look maybe later. I know if you can trade PATs using my funded futures, I know they are. Yeah, they used to. I actually had a message from someone there saying, yes, you can trade for a couple of points. There's no issue. So I think they've slackened it. Yeah, PATs isn't really micro scalping, so typically you're going to be going for 2 points. So yeah, they're fine with that. So I won't worry about it. If you want a bit of peace of mind, ask them again yourself. Just say, look, I trade 1 to 2 points. And not only that, all strategies, occasionally you may get out for a tick profit or break even. So, but they're not out to be awkward because they want a piece of the, they want a slice of the market. And if they're going to be doing, if they're going to be losing out on possible customers because they're being a bit finicky. So they used to be a bit strict, but they've slackened off. I do like the fact that they make you take an evaluation over 5 days. The only slight issue I have is it's about $90. If you fail the evaluation, it's an expensive evaluation. But if you pass it, you don't pay anything else. So, but I do like them. I like the CEO. I saw him being interviewed and he came over as really, really switched on and quite smart, quite friendly, polite, and just, didn't come over as some sort of a character like that idiot on fast track trading. I had a feeling, first time I heard him talk, I thought this is a guy I don't want to put any money into. And now I believe he's in court. But even new companies, well, there are always new companies springing up. I tend to let other people play around with them first and get a feel from, I don't want to have a go and put my money into someone who might have been around for 2 months. Yeah, now you can do you can do less than 5 points with Take Profit Trader. Well, I messaged them on the forum, on the Discord, and I said I trade 2 points on the ES. Am I okay? And the answer was yes. That was maybe 4 or 5 months ago. So I definitely checked, but the trouble is, a lot of traders take less than 5 points, so you're kind of missing out. But if you want some peace of mind, by all means. But I messaged them. In fact, I actually brought the message on here. I messaged them on the Discord, and when they said, yeah, you can trade, I brought it on the screen to show you. So, but if you want a bit of peace of mind, then by all means, check. So, are we doing something like that? Possibly. Okay, so trouble is when it is slow like that, often it can do that, just a big drop. That's why I tend to. So if there is a larger channel there may be an overshoot there. So it's just not super clear. Okay, so yeah, so Mac hasn't got a channel. I'm not a massive fan of a channel. There's Mac's there. It is more sideways. So having a bigger channel, I think that's probably right. It's just chop, 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 and then we get a small one. So that's why I'm going to adjust mine to. It looks better. In fact, that's what I've got that to be honest with you. Sideways, chop, 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 and then a bit of a channel like that. So I don't like that, to be fair. So Mac's got a channel like that. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. With a break, new high. So that makes sense. My for the future, yeah, 5 points on the NQ is tiny anyway, to be fair. I think they say 2 points ES is equivalent to about 10 points on the NQ. So 5 points on the NQ is a very small move anyway. Well, let's just have a quick look. So if I move over to the NQ, 5 points is tiny on here, to be honest with you. Let's have a look. So yeah, I mean, they are. There's 5 points. It's nothing, to be fair. It's about half the size of the smallest bar there, if that. So that's nothing, to be fair. So I wouldn't even. You're gonna do more than that anyway. So I wouldn't even worry about that. So yeah, that for me is probably something like that. I'd say Mac's got it like that. That kind of makes sense. So channel with a break, new high. So it's just not super clear at the moment. Dave, kind of confusing, but do I choose rhythmic when I trade Ninja Trader with? Okay, let me just don't do anything until I read that. Because Ninja Trader is showing CQG. So CQG, I believe, is Tradeovate. So kind of confused, but do I choose rhythmic data feeders? Okay, I think people have got their favorites. I've used rhythmic for about 2 years, but at the moment I am trading with Tradeovate as well, as I've got my Tradeovate up here just to exit all positions, just in case something goes down. And likewise with Apex. So I'm probably not the best one to answer that. You've got 2 options you can trade. You can trade with CQG, which is Tradeovate data, or Rhythmic. Rhythmic used to be quite problematic, so I don't think there's much difference between the two. But what I will say is if you're trading 2 different prop firms, trade them on separate. So trade one of them like I'm doing. Trade one of them on Rhythmic, one company on Rhythmic and one company Tradeovate, then you can trade the same together. So, but yeah, Tony's saying just use Rhythmic. Yeah, there's no real difference, to be fair. So I'll probably go with Rhythmic. I don't really see any difference. I'm used to Rhythmic, but I don't really see any difference. See, I always have this to my screen, which shows me if I'm in any trades, and when I'm in a trade, there's a red cross there, and when the trades close, it turns grey. So if something doesn't shut down, I can always manually do it. So I'd say it's a bit more straightforward with Rhythmic, I'd say, probably. So I think you're probably best doing that. The issues were, yeah, there used to be issues with Rhythmic. It used to be a ball ache at one point, but I haven't had any Rhythmic issues for a long while now. So yeah, just stick with Rhythmic, I'd say. Once you're up and running, it's pretty straightforward. But always have your positions. Always have a separate window. When you come to doing that, talk to me about it. I'll show you how to do it. Always have this. That way you can always see if something's live. On the rare occasion, it'll close here. Sorry, it'll close here, but it'll show here, and you may panic. But as long as it's closed here in Rhythmic, that's the important bit. But I can always talk you through that if you need to set that up. So it's hard to trade this stuff at the moment, really. Channel break, new high. We've still got a slight bullish feel to it, but it's not strong enough to, I wouldn't tend to get into any of this all of a sudden. If, you may have bought into that once it starts to push off the top, came down and cleared a lot of it out. So at the moment, it's just not easy. There's lack of volume, so lack of direction, but it is just a little bit choppy. So this is probably going to be a day of just sitting down. I've never got a problem with not taking a trade. In fact, I give myself a pat on the back if I don't take a trade for today, for the day. Because ultimately, being patient is a big part of it. And if you're patient, you don't take a silly trade and you stay out of it. If it's choppy, you've done a good job. But it was been like this yesterday. I suppose it's getting that time of the year, summer, when I suppose, some traders might be off on holidays, but volume it's a little bit better than it was yesterday, I think. I mean, yesterday, that was all we had. Where are we now? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got another 5 hours of price action yet, but there's not a huge amount of difference. We're probably up to probably 8 o'clock. The same volume as we've got now, and we're 4 hours early, so not a good day yesterday. So I didn't really do anything yesterday. I had a dental appointment, so I didn't really miss much, but same again, chop, chop, chop. You can see the difference in volume compared to that and the day before even more, so it's definitely slacking off a bit. Now, whether that's got anything to do with the summer holidays a bit, maybe, I don't really know. I mean, if it continues like this, I'm going to finish in about 25 minutes. I am probably going to finish a little bit early anyway. It's my wife's birthday, so. So I won't have a super long day. Okay, so Dan has got the top of his channel there. On the bottom, sorry, the bottom of his range there. About there. So let's get rid of that. He's not paying attention to that too much. Trouble is, I wouldn't want to go short off it at the moment. Ever since about 9 o'clock UK time this morning, price has slowly been moving up. So I really wouldn't want to take a short trade here at the moment anyway. Thanks. Just got one account and take profit trader Euro code. Much appreciated, my friend. Got to an apex evals early too. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. Where are you from, David, anyway? I've probably asked you that before, but I've got a brain like a sieve these days. It's too much scotch. We have talked before. What I like about Take Profit Trader is they force you to trade for 5 days, which stops you Well, it doesn't stop you, but it certainly discourages you from trying to pass it in one foul swoop. I'm tempted to join you, actually, and get one of those take profit trader myself, but I did say the Netherlands, I was active in your stream 1-2 years ago, started trading again last few weeks. Good on you, mate. Netherlands, got you. Got you. Nice to get some Europeans. We're usually surrounded by, mind you, we've got Karina from Spain, but usually we're kind of Tony, Straight Lines Tattoo, both from the UK, but I think a lot of you guys are US, I think. We're surrounded by them. We're surrounded by the Americans. I think, in fact, sometimes if I look on my YouTube, it shows you where most people from. Actually, there's actually quite a lot from the UK, surprisingly enough, but just missed the limit order tick. Drinking and trading better than having a high time. To be fair, mate, I never have more than a couple. So yeah, it's not a good habit. Yeah, I to be fair, I probably have a drink a couple of days a week, and I have a couple of doubles max, and that's it. And I do drink a fair bit of scotch, so I'm got a pretty good tolerance. But it's the equivalent of 2 pints of beer, so I don't get mad. Sometimes I'll have one, sometimes I'll have two. But I did. I think one day I cracked a bottle of something open on stream. It was on a Friday, and about 4 hours later, I'd blown 10 evaluations. So yeah, I'll never have more than a couple. But yeah, not a good habit to drink. I mean, you know, this is the second one I've had. I've only had a sip of it. But I won't have any more than a couple. Apparently, Karina does. Apparently, Karina told me once she was a heavy drinker. And I think she drinks vodka by the bottle, I think. So, I'm only teasing. Oh, what's going on there? Why is that shot down there? I'm only messing. In fact, I remember a bunch of years ago seeing an ex-footballer. Probably some of you older guys remember him. He was before my time. His name was Jimmy Greaves, and I saw him talking on a morning programme, maybe 20 odd years ago. And he used to drink about two bottles of vodka a day and about 20 pints of beer every single day. And a lot of the times he'd have half a dozen pints and half a bottle of vodka before he got on the football ground. So it's crazy to see what some people drink. Unbelievable. I'm only messing around, Karina. I'm only messing around. So, what are we doing now? Are we still going up, or are we having two legs down? Is this going more sideways? Trouble is, it started going sideways, and then it started creeping up. So, is it going higher? Are we going to break up and push up? But now it's looking like, I know Dan's got his chart like that. But is it going to push higher, or we're going to start coming down and bounce? It's hard to say, really. He's still alive. No, he died years ago. But I know, that's crazy. 2 bottles of vodka and 20 pints of beer. I think the most I've drunk really in one evening, in one sitting, is 3/4 of a bottle of scotch, I think. I had half a bottle at Christmas and I was okay, actually. I have a pretty good tolerance for it because I drink it regular. Not a huge amount, but... you know, a double per day of Scotch whiskey, I'm assuming Scotch whiskey, has actually big health benefits, surprisingly enough. Antioxidants is anti-cancer fighting. Obviously, you know, that's a small amount of it. Once you start drinking too much, it can completely does the opposite. So looking at this range chart at the moment, we've got a channel up with 2 legs back. So this may go higher. If you're long in this market, this probably isn't a terrible place to trade. My only slight concern is at the moment, is this starting to come down? So are we going to get a leg and a leg? So I'm probably staying out of a long trade here, but if you are going long, it's not the worst looking trade in the world. But we have had a channel with a break and a new low. But if this is finding some support, it may come down and test these lows. So just at the moment, I'm just sitting tight. You could argue 1, 2, 3, it's a triple test, but something on here tells me we may come down a bit further. So that would kind of put that trade on the back burner. A double per day helps get, yeah, it's actually got really, really, really good health benefits. Yeah, antioxidants found in Scotch whisky, that health benefits. It helps reduce cholesterol and it helps with cholesterol and cardiovascular health. Low calories, low sugar. Scotch. Some studies suggest there's a link with drinking Scotch whisky and the reduction of dementia. Anti-stress medicine. Scotch whisky has anti-stress properties, anti-cancer fighting properties. Obviously, you got to limit it, but. So the way I see it, the more I drink, the healthier I become. It's quite work that way, but you know what I mean. So let's have a look. We've got a channel down with a push up. Are we trying again? Is this going to come down? My gut feeling says we may come down and clear out some of this area here. So I don't want to go long on this chart just yet, because we may do something like that. Now I was watching a study from, where was it? I think it was Harvard. I'm believing it anyway. Let's have a look. Yeah, Harvard study, more than 100% studies show that inverse association between light to moderate drinking reduces the risk of heart attack or ischemic clot causing stroke or sudden cardiac death. Effects are fairly consistent. Yeah. The benefits of moderate drinking aren't as limited. Yeah, obviously you got to limit your amounts. Yeah, if you're a man with no history of alcoholism who is moderate to high risk of heart disease, daily alcohol drink could reduce that risk. Yeah, if you're a man, daily reduce that risk. So, it's And that was, I don't know what it is, but I have seen quite a few actually that are small amounts, 1 to 2 units per day can help, with certain things. Yeah, I mean, if you're drinking too much, absolutely. It's the old saying, isn't it? A small amount of everything, things in moderation. But, I'd say realistically, I probably have 3 doubles a week, something like that, which is, it's only 6 units, equivalent of 3 pints, maybe 3 to 4 pints a week. So it's a relatively small amount. Yeah. I mean, small amounts of things, can be beneficial, can't they? I don't know, but there you go. No, you can't run 2 rhythmic connections. That's why on here, wrong one. I've got my rhythmic here, which is showing my rhythmic connection there, and I've got Tradeovate on here just so I can close positions. I always keep those 2 on there, so I've got that from rhythmic, which shows any positions, and this so I can close either, just in case there's an emergency. But you can't run, I believe, multiple rhythmic. That's why I mentioned earlier, if you have, say, Apex on your rhythmic, go for Tradeovate or CQG on your Take Profit Trader. That way you can trade them at the same time. That's with Ninja Trader. I believe if you use Quantower, you can trade everything basically. So if you do want to trade that way, there's probably other bits of software as well. I am looking into this software with affordable indicators. In fact, I got another email from a guy today. Apparently you can trade multiple ones and monitor everything at the same time. But obviously there's quite a bit of work to do there, so I've got to kind of look into it and find out, is it better? What I don't want to do is give myself too much work to do or too many things to look at. I'd rather kind of focus, me trade. Sierra charts, yeah, there's so many different, platforms to trade. I suppose I started with Ninja Trader when I went on to futures, and it's kind of all I've used. I like it because it's simple. There's very little information, to look at on the screen, whereas I'm not sure what this is, but if I look at this, now you could probably ditch a lot of this. I'm not sure what this is, but look at the difference, how much information's on there compared to how much information's on here. But I think this is Tradeovate, is it? I just use this so I can close positions if, something hasn't closed, but obviously way more complicated than this. But, I suppose it's what you're used to. If I'd have started on something like Quantower, I'd probably had to read it inside out and back to front. But, the more you kind of feel comfortable with what you're trading, and if something goes wrong, you can click, do what you got to do to get out. But I believe with Ninja Trader, you can trade multiple Tradeovate connections. So I think you could trade, say, Apex on Rhythmic and My Funded Futures and Take Profit on Tradeovate. I believe you can. But I think if you want to do more than that, I think you've got to either have some specific software or move to maybe something like Sierra Charts or what's that other thing? The one I mentioned earlier. Quantower. I tried Quantower to play around with it. I found it a bit complicated, but you got to invest a bit of time into some of these platforms. I mean, the only 2 I've ever really used is MetaTrader when I traded currency, and Ninja. That's all I've used really. Nutty Bar stream from yesterday. Someone was talking about how to link up multiple accounts. I just can't remember which allowed both. Yeah, I know you can trade multiple prop firms with Quantower, because I know Alpine trades maybe 4 or 5 or something. My Funded Futures, yeah. So I think you could probably trade My Funded Futures, Take Profit Trader, both on Tradeovate, and maybe Apex on Rhythmic. So there's three different companies there anyway. So you've got options. I'm trading 2 at the moment. That's enough for me at the moment. But when I look at, if I do want to go up, I'll just have a look around. But I'm not sure whether I can trade Take Profit Trader and Trade of 8 both on Trade of 8 at the same time. Not sure. Multiple accounts. Okay, yeah. So CQG, Trade of 8. You can trade multiple accounts, so that's okay. CQG and Rhythmic at the same time on Ninja Trader 8 multi-broker. Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing that at the moment with Apex and Trade of 8. I've got Apex on Rhythmic, as you know, and Trade of 8 for my trade. I keep forgetting the name. Traderify account. So we've had kind of 2 legs down, but it's just kind of floating in the middle of nowhere at the moment. We've had a channel with a break and a new low. There is a higher low there, but price now is starting to go a bit sideways. So I don't know whether it's going to come down a bit lower or push up. It's just not super clear at the moment. So it's just not a huge amount you can do here. It's not really giving us a massive sense of direction. There's obviously a bullish feel to it, but there it kind of went sideways. Then we had a push up. Now it's kind of going sideways. So there is a second entry long there, but for about the last 5 minutes, it's just gone nowhere. So it's just, I'm not feeling comfortable with trading at the moment. I'm not sure about that. Whether you can request a change, I don't know really. It's no problem. You can do it. And you know, sometimes it's good to have, sort of diversify a little bit. I'm not sure if you can. I had a feeling I tried to do it once and couldn't. I think, did I get onto Trade of 8 and accidentally, was it Take Profit Trade? I accidentally signed up with Rhythmic. I can't remember now, and I couldn't trade them at the same time. Yeah, because I found I had to shut it down, then reopen it and trade. It was a pain. Separate. Yeah, I mean, you can do that separate trade. Depends how you trade. I mean, if you're only looking for one trade a day, it might be a ball ache having to trade 2 different, 2 different times. But there's always a way. There's always a way. So, some people request they may. Yeah, I'm sure they told me no. I accidentally signed up. I'm sure it was Take Profit Trader and it was Rhythmic. I meant to sign up with Trade of 8 so I could trade at the same time, and I asked them about it and they said no. There's a few traders got in there. That's risky. Yeah, there's a couple of people got in there. Yeah, this guy here is in that trade now. He's got his profit above there. Trouble is, this is coming down. There is 2 legs down, but there's no real direction at the moment. It is 2 legs, but look at this. All of a sudden, it's dropping. So it's just it's hard. I mean, his stops down here. He may still be okay, but I think he's gone long above the higher low. Trouble is, we've got a leg down. It could have 2 attempts to push high. It may come down. You can't change data. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know why they can't change it, but it does seem to be the way. Yeah, it's just more chop, really, isn't it? Up, down, up, down. We kind of want some direction. We know there's a slight bullish feel, but at the moment, it's not giving us some super clear. Ah, okay. Maybe that's looking a bit better. Would I want to go long here though? Not really, because we may get 1, 2, 3, a triple test, and this may come down. So it's just not super clear at the moment, but that guy who got in may just get his profits. Trouble is 1, 2, 3. It could be a triple test. This may come down and clear out this area. See, if this is a channel up, we got a break. We've made 1, 2 attempts to push higher. This could push down. Yeah, see, there's a second entry long there, but at the moment, I'm not quite sure where prices are going. So it's pushed up, but now all of a sudden, there's a bullish bar there. There's a higher low there, which is triggered. If this comes right down to here, my gut feeling is this may come down. But if there is a channel up there with a break, often it'll make a couple of attempts. If it doesn't get up, it may come down. So it's just this really, looking at this chart, it's more just sideways. So I wouldn't want to get in anywhere here. Because you just never know. Best thing to do when it's chopping sideways like this is to stay well away, because it does reduce the risk of winning a trade. And if your patience goes and you jump in, you're down a trade, straight away you're on. You're kind of playing catch up to a degree. I wouldn't look at it that way, but taking that trade right in the middle of this sideways stuff, so it may trigger, then come down the bottom and stop you out. But we got 1, 2, 3, maybe triple test may push higher, but we've come down here. It's a bit more clear on here. We've got maybe a channel, may have had a break. It's hard to say, but we've made 1, 2 attempts to push higher, or 3 if you count that. It may come flushing down. So there's a lot of mays in my voice at the moment, in my words at the moment. And while I'm saying may this, may that, it's not somewhere I want to get into a trade really, because there's just, there's too many possibilities at the moment. It's not super clear. You can bet there's going to be liquidity under there and below here as well. So maybe some down here, certainly some down here. So if it's struggling to get up, it may come down and clear some of this. If there's not enough buyers in here, buyers that really want to be below all this, maybe a retest. So my gut feeling is this is probably more likely to come down and clear this area. Absolutely. Wait for the mass exit, yeah. It'll move quick then, I think. I mean, there is a failure here. There is a second entry long failure. And possibly a second entry short, but I think you get a feel for the market when it's right to get in, don't you? I think when you've been trading a while, you just think, I tend to get to a stage where I go, I like this, and I get in. When I'm kind of going, it's doing this, it's doing that, I think I'm answering my own question there. Just stay out of it. I don't even tend to count any more legs or whatever, second entries or whatever. It's more about what it looks like. It's an overall picture view, really. So there'll be liquidity there. So my gut feeling is probably going to clear this out. That is triggered and come down. So I'd say it's probably going to come down to the bottom. So looking on this chart, there's a second entry short there. There's going to be liquidity there, liquidity. So it may push down, but it's still sideways. So I'm still not a fan of going short here because it's still a bit sideways. Now, we've come off the bottom. We didn't get to the top, but sometimes it'll do it slowly and then push up. So even the short there may trick you, but it's stacked up sideways. So there's just nothing here, really. Not what I would consider safe enough to worth, for worth having a go. Would I ever go on an evaluation? Yeah. Because my gut says it's probably going to come down there, but I don't want to base my trades on what I think is going to happen. I'd rather have a decent sense of direction and be confident before I get into a trade. So it's taken out that. There'll be some there, maybe there as well. So if it gets below there, it may have a little push, and I think you get your points there. But trouble is, look here now. If it bounces here a third time, it may not go much lower. It may go up. So are you going to get your full point? So if I was scalping a point there, may interest me, but there's just not much room to the lows. There is what could be quite a bit of support, there. So, okay. So it's done what I thought it might do, but it's still choppy, and I really don't want to get in right in the middle of this chop. But that was my thought process. We get a leg and a leg down. So that guy who did get in there with his profit up here just got pasted. But you do get used to seeing when it doesn't make much sense and it doesn't feel clear. Best thing to do is, you're done for the day, Sam. All right, good on you, bud. Yeah, when it is doing this, I think after a while you just get used to, when you get stung so many times, you know, my feeling is every time you lose a trade, when I'm looking at this, I'm focusing on this, I'm invested in this. So if it goes wrong, that picture being a bit messy sticks in your head. And when you've had a bad picture, an uncomfortable picture in that kind of memory bank stacked up in there, or that library of memory banks of bad experiences, whenever you get a picture similar in the future, you get a bad feeling. I don't like this. And that instinct, you know, it's weird, isn't it? You know, we've all driven through a place and thinking, I've been here before. So you may have only been here once. It's amazing what that brain picks up on. But if you've got a trade here, you're invested in it financially. And so you've got an emotional connection. So when you see a picture, yeah, so it's just cleared out a lot of this. When you see a picture like this and it went wrong, and when you've got many pictures in there, you tend to stay out of that. I think it was inevitable once it started to get below here. It was going to have a bit of a push to clear all this out. So trouble is, it's been struggling to get up for so long, and it just couldn't handle it anymore. And you think once it got below there, there's liquidity there. There's bound to be a ton of it before the bottom. Once that started to flow, it's kicking all these traders out and that. So you get that little momentum then, don't you? So it's why I never got into anything here, because it's just not worth it. But when you see this in the future and it struggles and struggles, often it will lead to a big drop. You can use that to your advantage. One, to stay out of trades, and two, maybe get into a very small position here with a stop up here and a very small position, and maybe, you know, 1 to 1 or 1 to 2 for a flush down. You know, there are warning signs that this thing may start to drop when it just slowly grinds and really struggles to get up. It's not something I would generally trade, but as experience grows, you'll get to know the warning signs. I never wanted to get into any of there because it's struggling, and slower it goes up, quicker it comes down. I've been caught out too many times than I care to admit. So I tend to stay well away from this for that obvious reason. So it's cleared out everything above that line there. Yeah, there's so many. I'll tell you what I used to do. I used to have a 1 point profit, 1 point stop above places where you get a lot of resistance or support. So for instance here, if you got a kind of a line in the sand here, like this, I may have an order 1 tick below there, 1 profit risk, 1 profit stop, because often when it does break these big support areas, it does it with a quick flush. And from there, once it got below these areas, we shot down maybe 4 points. And that's one thing I used to do. It's just something I experimented around with. Some things you try over time. So where are we going now? Yeah, I mean, I would put my order 1 tick below a lot of support, because often if you know there's going to be a lot of traders in there, there's going to be a lot of stops. When it does push below, often it'll trigger you and hit your 1 point profit quickly. But it was just 1 point risk, 1 point profit, just for, you know, more out of curiosity. But that's cleared out all this and that area there. So are we going to push up now, or is this going to come down? My suggestion is it may even come down further, tackle these lows. But I don't know is the answer, really. But I'm glad I, you know, tempted the getting in anywhere here, because you'd have just been screwed. And the trouble is, if you're experienced, the tendency is to move your stop, and usually when it does this, it just keeps coming down and down, and that stop gets bigger and bigger. I've done that so many times. So, but yeah, I think Thomas Wade got stuck there as well. Let's have a look. Surprised Thomas Wade got into that. Oh, he might have just got his profit. Thomas Wade got in there, one tick above there. And he got his profit, but he goes for 8 to 10 ticks. So I think he got on a tick or two early. So he got in there. He only just got his profit though. So I'm guessing small range, he'd have probably gone for 2 points, but he only just got it before it came down. So yeah, he got in there, I'd say 2 ticks short. So I'm surprised he took that, but he did anyway. That's it there. There's him there. So 2 legs down. So he got in there, but he got in a couple of ticks lower, but he only just got his 2 points. There's 2 points there. And you've usually got to push through. So he literally 1 tick higher, and that would have it gone. But yeah, it worked anyway. So, but yeah, I'm just not a fan of this. It's especially when it's struggling to get up. It's only a matter of time before it just drops in. Have a look. Flashed out all the buys. Yeah, when I follow Lance's live stream, I usually want to take some trades today. Some scalp for 2 point long. Yeah, I mean the thing is, if you're going for a point scalp, trades like that, you probably do. You know, if you're only going for a point, you're going to get away with a lot more. But at the moment, it's not an easy day again, is it? Even the 10,000 tick chart's not really giving us much of a bigger picture, is it? It's clearly just ranging, really. Trouble is, you got a range here, then it went a bit higher, and then it went a bit higher, then we had a quick drop. It's definitely a bit more unpredictable today. Would I want to go short here or long? I don't know, really. It is testing the underside. It may come down a bit lower. But once it's flushed this, I mean, the overall at the moment is bullish. You know, the overall bigger picture, but trading smaller time frames, you know, can do the, but we have cleared out all this liquidity here. So you would think if you wanted to buy this market, then this wouldn't be a worse time to buy it. So that may indicate it may go higher. But we are finding some support here, some resistance, sorry, along here. So it could come down a bit lower. So we got a channel there, break, and a new high. So that channel is played out. However you've got it, you may have it like that, in which case we've had a break, 2 pushes to a new high. So it may come down. You know, we may do something like that. I don't know, really. It's just not super clear. I'm not getting a strong sense of direction at the moment. So I'm just sitting on my hands and twiddling my thumbs. So who has been doing well lately as well is Alpine. He had a really tough time, but he's really pulled it out the bag lately. Fair dues to him.
Good. Fucking real.
He's having some really good days.
This is gonna blow
he went for a real
accounts.
rough patch. He
This is a price
was getting
action that
crucified,
just
blowing
blows
accounts
a
after
lot
accounts. So
of
it just goes to show you, if you've got that right mentality to come back and bounce back, you can go through tough times. I mean, he's $16,000 in June. He's had $112,000. So he is doing well at the moment. So it just goes to show you can get,
You just said range trades are easy.
6
Yeah,
weeks
they're
ago he
easy
was
in
getting
hindsight.
absolutely crippled and battered. Now he's doing well for himself, so good on him.
Because if I trade,
so anybody can make money in these markets, you know. You got to respect him because it ain't easy to do. Time for making money. NQ is running, is it? Scares me, the NQ. I think the NQ is for real men, or men and women, not me. It just moves a bit too quick for me. I'm used to more of a sedentary life. The ES is just a nice speed for me. I mean, sometimes it's a bit slow, but the NQ tends to just dart off quick. I'm not brave enough. So, channel break, 2 pushes to a new high. Would I want to go short or long here? I wouldn't have a clue at the moment. I don't know where it's going to go. We may end up here in 10 minutes, or we could be back down here. They don't call it the NASCAR. Yeah. I think you need to. See, I trade with a whiskey. I think if you trade the NASDAQ, you need a couple of pairs of clean underwear, I think, don't you? I've tried it a bunch of times. I used to have it on my left side just to give me a little bit of confidence to trade this, because they tend to follow each other, don't they? But I gave up in the end. But I like the combination I've got now. I do like this range bar, but as I'm still relatively new to it, I just like to have this just to give me that little bit of confidence that I am trading right. This tends to clear the mess up. The beauty is you don't really get dojis on this. The only thing in your way you're getting the doji is like that, which they finish on its high or low. You don't get dojis that fit it close in the middle. You don't get them, because the bar will either close on its high or on its low before it makes a new one. So every single bar, it either finishes on its high or finishes on its low. It won't, because obviously 2000 trades, this finishes no matter where it is in the process, but this will only move either up or down when it's completed 12 ticks. Its 13th tick will either be above the lows or below the lows. And I find that does clear things up a bit. So, channel up. If you got a break here, 2 pushes to a new moment, you can get an award for making statements like that. How long are we going to? What time is it? I may finish soon. It's my wife's birthday, so I want to be. She'll be back soon, I think. I usually know when she's leaving work because she nips via the shop and I get a quick cha-ching that she spent money. We have a joint account and we got Monzo, so every time you spend something, it goes ching. So I usually know she's at least on the way. So, leg and a leg. So, we have flushed down here and cleared everything out here. So, maybe now it may move up. But there's no kind of pattern to it. It's not very clear. There's no real obvious legs, is there? With the exception of maybe this one. That not really. Just a big drop down, bit of a pullback and a drop, and then it's just messy. It's just kind of the way it is. Back down, dude. Yep. Coming up as well, are you? Hey, hey. Cute puppy. Not so much of a puppy now. He's 7, that one. Okay, so leg and a leg. Where's this thing going now? So now it's flushed out a lot of this. I suppose you would like to think it's probably heading here. So maybe a couple of legs back, we may get something to take up, to move up. Not an easy day today. Yesterday wasn't brilliant. I didn't get to the chart later, so I didn't really trade yesterday. I just had a chit chat with a few people. Quite nice not to trade once in a while, just to have a chat and just watch the charts. But you can see how low that volume was yesterday, day before. But trouble is, when it's going sideways, I suppose generally people stay out, don't they? So where are we? 20 minutes. So I'm going to do 10 more minutes, and that's me for the day. I think it's going to be one of those days today. So you could go there, I suppose, but just for now, I'm going to pop it there. So it's kind of 2 legs, isn't it? I was tempted with this. The failure there, second entry long failure. Trouble is, because it's choppy, sometimes it'll give you that intention that it's coming down and shoot up, but because it's been going up so slow, it always concerns me that it does come down quick, and it can do sometimes. So I always tend to get nervous. I don't know how many times I'm thinking this is pushing on, you're looking for a place to get in, and you get a weak position, all of a sudden the thing just decides to take a tumble. I believe there's a US holiday next week, isn't there? Is it next week or the week after? Is it Juneteenth? Juneteenth? What do you guys call it? With a 30-second opening range. Oh, June the 19th. Oh, that's my birthday. So when's that? Oh, 9 days. Juneteenth. Consider bank holiday called to the Federal Reserve. Or Juneteenth. Yeah, see, looking at this, there is a failure there. We got a second entry short there with a failure above the EMA. Trouble is, it's just there's no really strong sense of direction. Now, my gut feeling is we're probably going to have 2 legs, but after we've just flushed down, you don't know. It's just hard to say. We could have a leg down there. We may have a few attempts to push up and it may come down again. But, okay, I think I'm going to leave it there, folks. So, shorter day today, wife's birthday. But to be fair, there's just not a lot going on. It's not an easy day today, so there's not a huge amount of trades around. So, I'll leave you guys to it. So, best of luck if you carry on. But failing that, yeah, you too, buddy. Failing that, I'll be back tomorrow. It is Wednesday tomorrow, so have a great day. Have a good evening. Stay safe, and we'll catch up tomorrow. Bye for now. Happy birthday to her. I'll tell her. Thank you, Karina. Take it easy, guys. Stay safe. Catch up tomorrow.